Hi, welcome back in my YouTube channels, and in this video is all about RPC Learning Note. So we learned before about protobuf, we learned before about HTTP2. Before jumping into gRPC, I want to touch a little bit about RPC. So as a software engineers, we write a lot of functions, or we call a lot of functions, because that's how we structure our code. Now imagine if we want to export some functionalities so that another system can call their functions. Usually we'll create an API in REST, for example. But what if we can just export the functions and then allow some connections so that another system can just call the functions from their sites? That will be convenient. So basically RPC is a communication protocols that allow a system to execute a procedures or a function or method, in this case, that resides in another systems. In RPC, the concept of communication is a client and server communications. The server will register all the methods or functions that to be allowed to execute by another systems, listening to some network and waiting for some connection from the clients. The clients will send a request, and the request will contain an ID, which basically the name of the functions, along with the arguments of the functions. This request will be encoded in some encoding algorithm and then send it over the network. What encoding algorithm to be chosen? There is many options. From exclusive encoding like GOP in Go programming language, or maybe a more universal encoding like JSON or XML. What transport layer to be used? There's so many options. TCP is okay, UDP also available, or maybe a higher layer communication protocol such as HTTP or WebSocket. What is the benefit of using RPC? Well, for me, it's convenient. If we compare with REST, in REST, it's all about resource-oriented, right? We have to think about the resource, we have to think about the URL path, we have to think about the HTTP method, we have to register the HTTP handler, and so on. But in RPC, it's action-based. It's what we do, what we write in functions. So it's more convenient, it's more easy to do. But there is also weaknesses. But one weakness that I want to highlight in this video is the lack of standardizations. So the two systems that want to communicate in RPC, they have to agree with what encoding algorithm they want to use and what transport protocol that they want to use. And I think this an issue that want to be addressed by Google by creating gRPC, the framework RPC. It brings a couple of standardizations, such as protobuf as the data serialization and HTTP2 as the transport protocol. So with gRPC, now those systems that want to communicate use the same tools, technologies, right? So that's all about RPC. If you're curious on how creating a client and server in RPC in Go programming language, I have created it in my repository, and the link is in the video descriptions. That's it, my video for today. Let's continue our learning to gRPC in the next video. Until then, stay healthy and keep learning.